Check this out. Today, we are making pig candy. Yep, you heard me right. Pig candy right here on the smoker. This is not going to take long to prep, so let's get the smoker started and I'll talk a little bit about the ingredients and how we prepare them before we put them on. Now we've got our grate right here at the middle level. That's exactly what we want to do for this. We don't want to put it too low so it gets direct burn on the very bottom of it. Let's go ahead and get this fired up to 275 degrees. PitBoss has a startup process. It takes a moment. There we go. This up to 275. Let's talk about the ingredients. What we're going to do is we're going to start this off with some pork belly. Now, oftentimes you want to get a bit of a slab, and you don't want the kind that has the thick skin on it. Fat, yes, but not the thick skin. I went ahead and bought these chunks. They're probably about an inch in diameter, and they're actually sliced. That'll be all right, because in this case, we're going to cut it up into 1-inch chunks anyway, given the pig bacon, if you will. We're going to start this like most barbecues. We're going to put a dry rub on it, and we're going to set these on a small screen rack over a drip pan. This is bacon, so a lot of it's going to render out in the fat-wise, and we don't want it to deep fry, cook in that essential fat. We really want to let it dry out a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about how we make these into candy later, but we're going to start with that dry rub. So let's get this up to temperature while we prep these guys. All right, let's get these guys opened up and cut up. By the way, I mentioned this Killer Hog barbecue rub. I'm also going to try this cowboy butter. I've been hearing a lot of really good things about cowboy butter. It's a PitBoss mix, but I'm sure every other grill provider and third-party company out there probably has them. It's getting a lot of sort of attention, so we're going to give it a shot. All right, I mentioned this is essentially pork belly, so if you think about that, that's like a slice of bacon. It just happens to be, I mentioned these are 1 inch thick. They're probably more like a 1/2 inch. That's good. Let's go ahead and just start with a few of these. I'm going to grab about 4, because I think they will stack nicely together. And we want to go ahead and do, if they're about a 1/2 inch thick, we want to go about 2 inches, 4 times that distance or so, and cut them down here into little bite-sized pieces. I'll just do this slab in thirds. Now, what I have is each of these pieces, like a small little bacon slab, we'll get all kinds of great flavor on. So now we just want to cut the rest of these. We determined about 1/3 here, about 2 inches long is a good size. So we'll go ahead and cut right through these. By the way, the colder your meat is, the easier it is to slice. I just took a phone call and it warms up just a little bit when you do that. Which, by the way, won't hurt the meat. It just makes it a little less easy to cut. That's why I'm cutting all of these at once. I figure it's just going to keep getting softer as I go here. Okay, so let me show you what you end up with. You end up with what essentially looks like a very thick piece of bacon. That's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm just going to separate all these guys out. Some of these are nice and thick and some are thin, so I'm going to put the thin ones near the side just because I think they will probably get done quicker than the rest of them. We're going to lay these out on a nice little tray. Let me show you what that looks like, and then we're going to season them up, half with Killer Hog, half with cowboy butter. Now we're going to do some of these on a little screened rack, and we'll see that those get a little drier because it'll have an opportunity for the rendered fat to go down below them, and that's going to cook above it. It's going to allow that smoke and air to circulate underneath. On these, we're going to put them right down on the foil itself. That essentially means as that fat renders out, they're going to be sitting in that rendered fat. Now that's going to absorb back into the meat later. It's going to only make it taste really good. Certainly won't be healthy, but then again, we are eating pork belly. It's not really healthy anyway. So let's go ahead and these ones that are primarily fat, I'm going to put over here. And I'm going to try to put the smaller ones at one end just because it'll be easier to keep an eye on them as we are working through this. So when looking at these, you can really see the difference. These with more pork in them, these with more fat in them. But we're just going to go ahead and I think I'm just going to do half the pan here with the Killer Hog, and then I'll do this half of the pan with the honey butter. Same thing over here. Flip these guys over. Over here. Yeah, right here. Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks. Now, where these pieces are a little thicker, we really want to get it on all sides. So I'm just going to give a little sprinkle here. I'm kind of wasting a bit of this stuff. All right, Killer Hog on. Let's go in with some of this cowboy butter now. Ooh, this smells good. Smells some garlic on here. I've got my thickest pieces of this toward the center of the pans because that will be toward the center of the grill, which is the hottest spot on my grill. All right, we've got our grill at 275. It's actually running at just over 300 now. So I'm going to get this opened up, and let's go ahead and put these in. Now we're probably going to smoke these for about 2 to 2.5 hours total. But here's the thing. We're gonna rotate these about every 20 minutes because there are different hot spots in the grill. What we don't wanna have happen is for one side only to get cooked all the way. And we'll put these next guys right to the right of it. Now I am putting the honey hog in the back, the killer hog in the back, and the cowboy butter up front on both pans, just so I remember what they look like if the color doesn't stay that way. So let's get this closed up and we'll come back in 20 minutes and we'll rotate these trays around. So now comes the hardest part of barbecue, waiting. And that's the thing, barbecue takes longer than most other food items we cook. So this will probably go, like I said, a little over 2 hours, and every 20 minutes we'll check it out. See you back here in 20. Alexa, set a 20-minute timer.
20-minute timer started.
My girlfriend over here is always keeping track of time for me. When she doesn't listen to my wife, that's what she always says. Your girlfriend's not paying attention to me again. Go another 20. It's been another 20 minutes. Whew. All right, these guys have been on now for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out and put them right here, because now we're gonna top them, and this is what gives them the candy side of it, a little brown sugar and honey. But let me pull this out. So these are not quite done, but I'm gonna flip them each over. Actually, you know what? Let's coat them over, and then we'll flip them and we'll coat them again. Let me zoom in and kind of show you what we've got. I'm going to use a little bit of brown sugar. You can use sugar in the raw for this, would work just fine as well. I just have brown sugar. And then we're going to go ahead and use some honey. If you like spicy food, some hot honey would be really good on this. You can also take a little bit of regular honey and add a little bit of Frank's red sauce or some kind of hot sauce, Tabasco, whatever. I actually want these to be rather sweet. I like it that way. So we're going to do ours as sweet pig candy. So I'm just going to take a little bit of brown sugar that I have in a bowl, and I'm going to sprinkle this on here. I don't want to go too thick on here, because I'm going to flip these over and we'll do the other side as well. Get these guys flipped right over. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side, but we're going to add honey as well. Now on this side we want to add a little bit more. We're trying to get this a nice baked layer right on here. Almost going to create a candied form on the outside of this. Now we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of this honey on here as well, and I like to just drizzle this on. Not too much, but just a little bit here. And that's going to help strengthen this brown sugar into a bit of a candied-like shell. Now for some comparison, I want to show you what this other tray looks like. I'm just going to take this and put it right down here on the table. This will be surprising because this one didn't have a rack. These guys have been basting in their own pork fat. You pull the camera in and show you what these look like. Now you remember these were much more fatty, so you sort of expect that they're going to be a little bit more soft, right? Where all that fat has broken down into that nice soft gelatin. But just looking at picking that up, it doesn't pick up the same way these guys did. But I don't know how good these are going to be because they're primarily fat, so we'll see. Let me kind of show you what these look like. So take a look at what I was saying before. You can see if I were to pick one of these guys up, they're not quite as soft. They're certainly soft, but not like this. That just pinches apart soft. But that is that gelatinous fat that we're looking for. And just like before, sprinkle one side of these guys. And with that, let's go ahead and get this one back into the grill. We're going to do again 20 minutes per time, rotate them, and we probably need about another hour or so. We want to do this until the fat on these guys is rendered down and soft. What we don't want is for them to be deep fried, and we don't want a mouthful of fat. All right, it's been about 2 hours and 12 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of here. We'll take a look and see how it's doing. Now what we want to do to test these is we want to use a probe, and we just want it to go in unbelievably easy. And I'll tell you what, these have a little bit more time to go. This one's close, but not all of them are. So I'm going to take the ones that I believe are already done. I'm going to pull them off of here. Those are some of those smaller pieces we had. Take these guys and pop them right in here. Now that honey and brown sugar has sort of formed like this little candy shell on the outside of these. Looks good. I'm going to put these larger pieces back in the smoker. We'll let them go a little while longer till they get tender. But we're still going to check these out and give them a taste test. Let me kind of show you what these look like. So these are definitely looking good. We're gonna set that aside. And you saw we cut this little piece just while I had the close-up. And then I've got another piece here that was mostly just pork and not much of the fat in it. Same thing, it's looking really good inside. We'll give this one a try first. That bark is just amazing. This has some of that cowboy butter on it. You can sort of taste that buttery, smooth flavor on it. That's really good, really good. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite of this one. It's a pretty good size. I'm gonna take a whole bite of this. It's got a little bit of that rendered fat on the end. It has a bit of the pork on the other end. So that's a big piece. Let me go at half with that. Great sweet pork flavor. The sort of candy shell with the brown sugar and the honey on it is superb. What I like about this is you get a little bit of that richness of the pork fat. It's rendered soft, a lot like when you see the intermuscular fat on a pork butt or even a brisket, how it sort of turns almost to this gelatinous liquid. It's just amazingly flavorful. Really, really good. Now, I also had some of these pieces that I put in the oil. They came out a lot harder. So for example, if I were to get one of these guys and give it a cut, it has a much harder shell on it. It's got a crisp and a crunch to it. So it's interesting. It's almost more deep fried. It has this, this candied shell on it, which has a great flavor. It's almost chewy. Not chewy like tough meat, but like chewy like bubble gum. Like you bite into it and it compresses and sticks to your teeth a minute, and you open it back up, that honey and brown sugar releases, full of flavor. It doesn't look nearly as pretty as the other one, but it has truly amazing taste and flavor. It's stuck to the cutting board. So now the question is, what one did I like better? The honey butter, or the cowboy butter, or the killer hog? I think I like the killer hog better. That's what was on this piece. I like the sweetness of that as opposed to the richness of the buttery flavor. Really good stuff. All right, I'm gonna eat one more, but before I go, you should definitely give this one a try. I called it pig candy. You can call it some kind of wonderful basted pork belly, but it's good stuff. Bye, y'all. Safe and happy smoking, grilling, or whatever you're doing outside.